Good evening, Anand. I agree. Look, the fact remains that because of political expediency or vote bank or appeasement or the fear of being branded Islamophobic, the Congress has traditionally been soft on terror. There are umpteen examples of this. In January 2020, for example, the Bengaluru police arrested 6 SDPI men who, Anand, for a mere 10,000 each, plotted to kill the young BJP MP Tejasvi Surya because of his pro-CA stand. They came to kill him at a rally, but couldn't. So nearly killed an RSS worker instead. SDPI is the other side of the PFI coin, but the Congress never banned the PFI. In spite of documented proof collected by its own government.
Rahul Gandhi is taking support from the PFI. Please add that in Wayanad.
That the PFI was neck deep in acts of terror, bomb making, training camps, political murders, links with Al-Qaeda. The tragedy is that the Indian state sadly buckles when it comes to terrorism. Remember the recent release of the Coimbatore bombers, despite the refusal of the Supreme Court to give them bail? And the release was trumpeted by the DMK government as an example of being concerned about the minority. Can you imagine? And as I said, this softness is truly, especially true for Congress. Does Rahul Gandhi, for example, have the guts to say terrorism has a religion? I challenge him. Kashmir is a living example of this. They might even certify that the slogan shouted on the night of January 19, 1990 from the top of mosque, Ralif, Salif, Galif, death to Kafirs, Pandit, leave your women behind, convert, run or die, Nizam-e-Mustafa, has nothing to do with religion. Air Chief Dhanoa is on record saying that the Indian Air Force wanted to bomb terror hideouts in Pakistan in the wake of 26/11, but was forbidden to do so by Manmohan Singh. India rewarding Pakistan for their 2008 attack on our embassy in Kabul by capitulating miserably in the Sharm el-Sheikh declaration. Tens of thousands attending the funerals of terrorist Yaqub Mehman Burhan Wani. The mainstreaming of PFI being awarded by vice presidents. Shiv Kumar doubting the Mangalore terror strike. Congress leaders defending Simi in court. Doubting the Balakot airstrike. Sonia Gandhi crying tears of sorrow after the Batla House encounter. Terrorist Yasin Malik celebrated by India's Prime Minister. Anand, I can go on and on and on. And let us be clear on one thing. Poverty or illiteracy have nothing to do with fundamentalism. Fundamentals have. You can be educated and still blow up the World Trade Center or charge at the Gorakhnath temple shouting Allahu Akbar. Please understand. There is nothing called radicalization, but our politicians, especially the Congress ones, don't have the courage to admit this. On the other hand, the Congress has ample courage to brand Hinduism as a terrorist religion, to hail Aurangzeb who killed 4.6 million Hindus, to coin the phrase saffron terror in just 30 seconds. In an age where Pakistan Zindabad turns into Naseem Sahib and IED turns into gas cylinder, in a way, I am relieved that the recent bomber of Rameshwaram Cafe was caught entering and praying at a mosque after he planted the bomb, because otherwise, the Congress might have claimed that he was wearing a Hindu sacred thread kalava, so that our politicians could then have branded the entire act as perpetrated by Hindus or the RSS conspiracy. Exactly what they did in the wake of 26/11.